Welcome to this week's edition of the Gridiron, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. I'm your host, John Brennan, with head coach Chad Brewbaker. Springford opened up its home schedule this year with a loss. The Downingtown East 17-14. Coach, I guess my first little takeaway is really a true tale of two different halves. First half, you got off to a good start, you got some stops, and then the second half kind of seemed like you couldn't get anything going, and they got some momentum going a little bit there too.
Well, offensively, I disagree with you. We didn't get anything going in the first half either. That was, ad-libbing.
Okay.
The one play wasn't. The other play was a scramble.
Yeah, your second touchdown seemed like a
touchdown was regular. But we just really struggled. So they blitz and stunt every play, and we just couldn't pick it up. I mean, it kind of got us out of our minds in terms of what we should be doing offensively, and it was not good. Our quarterback was on the ground quite a bit. We weren't getting the ball out on time.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a perfect storm of like injuries, and we got to get back to trusting one another and communicating. Like, the communication piece is something that really drives me insane. Like, when two guys are right next to each other and they don't communicate pre-snap. But defensively, we did a nice job. And special teams, we did a nice job. So we were 2 for 3, but that 2 for 3 got us a loss. Our defense was on the field way too long, and that was a combination of them allowing long drives and also then the offense going 3 and out a few times, and they're being right back on the field. So obviously we had a lot of issues with cramps.
Yeah.
Upset with that.
Well, I was going to say, like, that was my other real big takeaway was the pace they played. It really kind of, it seemed like it got to the second half, but you're explaining, essentially why the pace really got to you. And I don't know if you got this one, but up in the booth we were talking, and the reporter was there, Rob, before that last drive in the second half, I think you were negative yardage in the second half until that last drive. We had you like -10 go. So
that doesn't surprise me because we took some sacks
and some lost plays.
We took some lost plays.
But their pace eventually wore you guys down too.
Yeah, that's what they try to do. They've been doing that for the past 4 or 5 years. It's like no huddle but power football.
Yes,
and it does wear you down. Our kids continued, even though some were cramping, they kept getting up and they kept going back in. So from that standpoint, my criticisms about our team the previous week against Easton, we fought for 48 minutes and quite honestly, obviously had a chance, would have had 3 chances from the 7-yard line with about a little under 20 seconds to play. And, I'd like to think that we get in the end zone on one of those 3. So, and at the very least, kick a field goal.
Chance, yeah.
So, it was, 2 different types of losses, but, that's weighing on us, and we've got to, play our best game this week because it doesn't get any easier.
Well, you find yourself in a really position you haven't found yourself in. You find yourself out of the top 16 in the district right now. You said it's not getting easier. You talked about a real goal this year about being efficient on offense. It doesn't seem like that's going well either, too. So, I mean, it's really putting you guys in a bind. It's really going to be interesting to see how this team responds, in this week here where most people out there are saying Downingtown West is a better football team than Downingtown East out there. And once again, the East guys can clip that and use that later on when they play West in the year. But, I mean, on paper, Downingtown West looks like the real deal, too.
Well, I would say this about the offensive efficiency. We weren't terrible on Friday night in terms of offensive efficiency. We weren't getting chunk plays, but we weren't terrible. We want to be at like 65%. We were at like 55, believe it or not. So
yeah, like you're saying that, I'm like, oof, I don't. But
well, we're saying if we get 3 yards, that's an efficient play.
Okay.
So the problem is we would get 3 yards,
lose 10.
Yeah, right. So. Ultimately, we have to clean that up. I think the issues that the Downingtown East defense presented, there were some things that they did that weren't exactly sound and a little, I don't mean desperate, but kind of like you wouldn't do that unless you were trying to cover
Unorthodox.
some things up. And it just really screwed with us. And the more they did it, the more mentally we struggled with it.
So we talk a lot. You talk a lot about this staff and your communication and stuff like that. You know, at some point, you know, are they defense going to you? And I'm sure you were going at defense the week before. Like, hey, we need you guys to put a drive together at this stage of the game.
We talk back and forth, and obviously we know that, and
Yeah.
we just weren't. I mean, we got the ball at their 36. We forced a punt,
and they
got the
shanked
ball
it.
at their
Yeah.
36. They shanked the punt. We got the ball at the 36 and went 3 and out, and actually went backwards.
Yeah.
And you know.
And that's an opportunity where they're coming out of the half. They get the ball. You got to stop. And now you're like, this can be like hammer down time. Get
Let's
a
go.
touchdown, and you just, like you said, you just kind of.
Yes.
And I guess my other takeaway is that I thought when your quarterback is getting the ball, getting out of his hands, you had a lot of nice, real good plays. It's like that. If there's a hesitation, don't know what to do. That's when you guys seem to be, or that first receiver's covered.
Yeah.
He's not quite sure of it. Is he going to get open? That's where it's kind of leading the problems, I feel like.
Agreed. And they did a great job of getting the ball out of their quarterback's hands real quick. And we try to do that. I think that, there's a combination of, we're down a couple receivers. We're playing a freshman, a sophomore. We're playing a guy that plays both ways, and we're playing a senior that never played before. And some of that stuff, there's a trust factor there. But I think that it's a combination of, when you get hit in the pocket over and over and over again, obviously you start to get a little skittish. There were some other factors that I don't want to get into, but those hits add up.
Yeah, sure they did.
And certainly, all those things combined, and we still went down at the end of the, we were mentally tough. We still went down at the end of the game and had a chance to win it.
Yeah. All right, Coach, good stuff, good segment there. Let's take a look at the offensive highlights from Springford, Downingtown East.
Offensive highlights are sponsored by JC Auto Service.
So this is the
big
highlight. Again, you can see all our guys are covered, and we got to work on getting separation. We really try to emphasize that in practice. We just weren't getting open. There were some times where we just weren't getting open. But Matt scrambles here. We do a decent job of pass protection, but it does break down at the end. And then Matt pretty much does a lot of it himself. Declan Finney was down there and got a great block. You'll see that on the end zone here. So we're in pretty good shape, but we're not open. We're not getting separation. And that's a big factor in what's going on right now.
Right, especially if you want to be a team that wants to throw the ball too. This guy's got to get open. Here it's not just a scramble play.
Yeah, this is a scramble play at the end of the game.
Yeah.
To get us inside, in their territory. And this was actually, again, you can see receivers that aren't open. There were the initial way that Matt looked. The guys weren't open. There was some guys on the other side of the field that were open. And you see right there, we're kind of robotic. The middle of the field is wide open, and we continue to not break into the middle.
This is where he keeps it and scores.
Yeah, this was the second
play.
touchdown. That is a design play. It's zone read. Kid chased. Did a good job of recovering, but Matt makes both guys miss and gets into the end zone. You'll see it here from the end zone copy. All right. We do a nice job of blocking up front, and Matt does have a receiver out there if he wants to throw it, but he took it himself. This is the last drive again. This is freshman Rowan Harmon.
But he sees it, delivers the ball.
Yeah, got it right on time, and that we're down inside the 20 now. And even on that play, I see some receivers that aren't running the proper routes, jogging. That stuff, is just not acceptable in our program, and not getting down the field and blocking as well.
They're out of his hands, like quick.
Yeah. Well, they brought 7, and we put 5 out in the route, so obviously they couldn't cover everybody, and Matt found Ryan Kirchner there right away off the jump.
All right, so there's the highlights there. And once again, we'll do some announcements next time. But Our student section, Gabe, you talked about coming out to the game. They were out. They were out in full
there.
force for you guys on Friday night for you guys.
They were there.
All right. We'll come back here and do another segment about the East, all right?
All right, sounds good.
We'll stay tuned through the commercial break, and we'll do the defense from Springford Downingtown East.
Welcome to the Rothman Orthopedics Urgent Care and Walk-In Centers. When dealing with pain or injury, our urgent care and walk-in centers are the ideal place to start your care for all of your orthopedic issues. Our team of physician assistants are available to treat patients 8 years of age and older for a variety of orthopedic issues, including sprains, strains, tears, back pain, fractures, and weekend warrior injuries. No appointment is necessary. Don't wait. Start the path to recovery at the Rothman Orthopedics Walk-In Center or Urgent Care.
Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brewbaker. All right, Coach, before we talk defense here, we talked about student section made it out. Avita ran a really good night, good program. Both schools had some students out there to show. What do we got going on this week with Downingtown West coming in?
I don't know.
No announcements. Nothing going on. Nothing crazy. Is it a youth night? Youth night's on the
No, that's
schedule?
Norristown.
Youth town.
That's the following week.
Following we got Norristown. So nothing's
Nothing related to us. I don't know if something's going on.
All right, so you guys just got Downtown West. Anything else you want to promote? Anything going on in the community?
You can go to our website if you want to buy Springford football gear.
Oh, the team store is open.
Team store's open.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
What else?
I don't know. I'm asking you. You're the guy running the show. I'm just the guy showing up.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right. So team store is available. If you want to buy things, and once again, you can follow you guys on all social out there with what's going on. We got to get somebody on the Springford football and give us like some game updates. You know what I mean? Like if you're not around, I don't have to find the reporter. I can just go to Springford football. Like,
I'm coaching.
okay. Well,
So-
wait. Do you trust no other trustworthy
No.
source? Okay. Only you.
No.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
Listen, you know what happens.
Oh, yeah. I hear
not
you. The internet machine's
doing
a
that.
dangerous
Not
spot
doing
out there.
that.
Dangerous. All right. So we talked about defense. Easton, no offense, ran at will against you guys. And like you said here, if you would have said to you before the game, hey, we're going to hold them to 17, you'd take your chances.
I'm
at it.
in.
Yeah, right. So the defense kind of they showed up, got some good stops for you. I know they scored before the half. And that's where you have to be concerned because they're getting the ball to start the second half. But you got another stop
Yeah,
there.
we
You
did
know what I
get a
mean? Like,
stop.
so you did get some stops, but it's still some of that little bit of MO, like having trouble getting off the field on third down.
Yeah.
Especially like that first touch. I think it was like third or maybe even fourth. They had the pass down the sideline to set up the first and goal then too. Like
Right.
opportunities to get off the field for you guys.
Yeah, and that's tough too. The way they play, they're going to go 4 downs a lot of times too, especially when they cross the 50. So that's difficult. We held them to a field goal on, a long drive.
Yeah.
So that's another good thing. Again, 17 points. That was a tremendous effort by our defense.
Yeah, so like you said, they did a better job stopping the run out there, but it was just a battle of attrition. I felt like for the defense, like here they come again. Here's this guard pulling, here's this tackle pulling, and they're coming right at me a little bit.
Absolutely, and we're going to see more of that this week. Downingtown West runs the ball over 85% of the time. So, our defense did well, and they did what we asked them to do. They did, it took. They're running back on 175 yards, but it was on almost 40 carries.
Yeah, I was going to say it's over 30 carries, right?
So all in all, they did a tremendous job throughout the evening, and especially with guys, being tired, cramping up, whatever. They just kept going back in and battling. And we had a lot of guys that we mixed in too.
And it's easier for me to say as a watcher, well, we got to get those third down stops, but it's not as easy when you're out there and hey, this is my play, whether or not, whatever the case is, and if I don't make it, it's going to be a first down in these situations. Says easier than what it probably is.
Absolutely, absolutely, especially when they do it as well as they do.
Another thing you kind of maybe not struggling with, but the idea, like they were able to get the ball out of their hands quickly. Not a lot of negative plays for them. Like we didn't have any like QB snacks. We didn't have any like strip sack. Like you miss out.
We didn't have any. We didn't get any turnovers. We didn't force any turnovers. They do get the ball out of their hands quickly. When they need 5 yards, they did that. But the big thing is we didn't force any turnovers. If you would say 17 points and we got 2 turnovers, I'm really liking. I'm really liking. But they did a good job of protecting the football. They didn't have a lot of negative plays. They didn't have a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
That's how they run their program.
And I thought they did a good job. Like when it's like 3rd and 3 and you're thinking run, here comes run. they hit you with a little action,
bootleg.
yeah, a little bootleg, little
Yeah.
running back out of the backfield, that sort of thing. They kind of, you're selling out for running. They hit you with some where they found you one-on-one on defense too.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. With that, let's take out the defensive highlights from Springford, Downingtown East.
Defensive highlights are sponsored by JC's Catering.
So the plays that we have on here are the tackles for loss, and that was a nice job. I think that was, who was that? That was Anthony Early. That was Anthony Early coming up from his safety spot and making a play. That was a really, really nice play.
And like once is that you heard their name, like your safety's getting involved in the game too.
Yeah, right here. This is Braden Welsh, as well as it might be, can't see. Oh, it might be Anthony. Oh no, Shane Lewis. Shane Lewis and Anthony Early are right there too as well. And again, it's just off tackle. This is Bryce Roberts making a nice play. All right, knifing through, as well as Jacob McDowell. Nice hit.
Jacob McDowell wearing the
Guardian cap.
Yeah, thanks you for the name. Appreciate that.
Another tackle for loss here. I think this is Brady Welsh again.
And these are, I'm going to guess, this is like almost like a design run blitz.
Yeah, I mean, we did some stuff where we played man in the secondary. This is the first drive of the game. We got a 4th down. They threw for it, and
there's Turner coming up.
Turner just came up and make the tackle and turned the ball over on
And once
downs.
again, quick look, he looks open, but that's where you need that safety to come up and fill that and make that tackle right there.
Yeah, so they did a real nice job. But again, over and over and over, that pounding, you have to be willing to
like you
take
got
that.
like you were like dropping like flies in that second half. It just like I think you even saw like more coming out of the halftime, like it just like cramping up. You know what I mean? So yeah.
But those are issues that need to be corrected, and we talk about it all the time and harp on it about hydrating through the week. It's not just on Thursday night that you have to hydrate. That's not good enough. So
especially for your guys that you got playing a lot of snaps tonight too. All right, Coach, good stuff here. Let's move on to the other Downingtown, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Make sure we stay tuned through the commercial break, and we'll preview the game with Downingtown West. Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brewbaker, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. All right, Coach, here we got Downingtown West. Now, once again, I mentioned a little bit, you find yourself in a position I don't think we've ever really been in, where we've been out of the top 16. You got another non-league game against a really tough opponent here. And, like, once again, we'll go back, we can talk about last year, the past. Like, these are the games, like, you wanted. Like, you want to play these teams, you want these types of tests, you want these type of opportunities for your kids too.
Yeah, and 2-1 looks a heck of a lot better than 1-2.
Yep.
2-2 looks a heck of a lot better than 1-3. So, we need a win. Brady Welsh said it really well last night at the end of our practice. He said, we're not desperate here, but we need a win. We have to be urgent. We have to be urgent.
Play with
about
urgency.
this.
We've heard coaches, we've heard kids talk about that here. Like I think coaches have said, like, hey, you got to play with a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
It's good for kids to pick up on the idea you got to play with some urgency too.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good to hear him say that. But we need to have a really good week of practice. Downingtown West is 3-0. They sit atop District 1 right now in terms of points for playoffs. And we have not been in this situation for a while, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe we look back on this and say that was a good thing, but we've got to play well on Friday night.
Well, once again, we talked a little bit. Like Easton lost that game to see what had like a little desperation. They came back home like, hey, we're gonna give Downingtown East hadn't won a game like that. You saw how excited they were at the end of the game, like how much it meant to them. Like, can we translate some of that energy into this Friday night's game too? Right,
and then Souderton beat CB West on Friday night. So that tells us, like, CB West beat Easton.
Yep.
We beat Souderton. Souderton beat CB West. By the transformative property.
Oh, look at you using fancy things there.
No, but it just tells us, like, that's what's irritating.
Yeah.
That's what's irritating about the whole thing. Guys, we're right there, and this is wide open. We just need to string some wins together here. And, it would be nice to get started on Friday night, put a little win streak together.
And you said Downingtown West, they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball downhill against you. Like, same thing right here. same conversation needs to be had this week. We got to get some stops, and we got to be able to keep the ball on offense.
Yeah, they have a new head football coach who was a former offensive lineman,
Okay.
offensive line coach. And so, therefore, like
They're ready offensive
they want to
lines
run the
are ready
ball
to
and
go.
control the clock, and they do. So the good thing is we've seen wing T principles at Souderton. We've seen power principles with Downingtown East, and Downingtown West kind of does a combination of those two. They do a lot more misdirection stuff offensively, but at the end of the day, it's still like a wing T or a power principle. And we just got to get our eyes right and not get lulled to sleep by their misdirection.
Can you help us out in the booth? Can we get them to wear some white jerseys this week? I could not read those yellow jerseys for the life of me.
I think that was done because of the Avidum,
Oh,
so
okay.
we approved that. They
Okay.
asked
Well,
to
I'm
do
telling
that.
you, we could. I had no idea.
They'll be
who-
wearing white.
White with like hopefully a blue, not a yellow
Yeah.
too. Okay. Because no chance. I was up there trying to figure out who made those tackles,
You
and
need
the Downingtown
binoculars.
East coaches were not helping. Binoculars. You're asking a lot right now. You know what I mean? Asking a lot. My own binoculars.
I think
or
Merle
school-
Reese uses binoculars.
Does the Eagles give Merrill Reese binoculars, or does he bring his own?
He probably can bring his own.
Well, I need binoculars. if
Don't
you
you
want.
have a rangefinder?
Yeah, but that's small. Like that's more like looking out for a target. It doesn't really enhance it, make it
Yeah.
a lot
Okay.
clearer to read. So, thanks Downingtown East for the yellow uniforms with the numbers I couldn't read. Appreciate that. All right, let's take a look at Downingtown West on offense.
Upcoming game highlights are sponsored by Tom's Car Wash.
So this is against Perkiomen Valley last week, and you're going to see like misdirection stuff, play fakes.
Wide
Here they
open.
run a little wheel and wide open. They're in cover 3, and the corner just goes with that post, and they have him up the sideline for a touchdown. Again, when they throw with a specific purpose of something else that they've done. They run this little inside handoff counter. Number 3 for them is a really good, quick running back.
But like you
PV
said,
had a
you watch the
chance.
motion, then you watch
Yeah.
the running back, then here comes 3. It's a lot of like eye discipline. I think I've heard
Right.
we use the term eye discipline.
PV had a chance there to make the play in the hole, but just couldn't get there in time.
Here they give the 3 again inside.
Yeah, and this is one where like they had him again, but he slips out of tackles and gets into the end zone. They had him right there twice. Again, they missed like 3 or 4 tackles on that one play. When they throw with a purpose. Here's a really nice back shoulder fade
Yep.
from the.
He's got his
from the
one-on-one.
quarterback.
He's going to throw to his big receiver out there.
Yep. Yeah, they have 2 receivers, 164, 163.
Helps the cause.
That doesn't hurt. They got a 6'4" tight end. Again, PV has a chance to make those tackles. Got to make those plays.
And you see the
there.
tight end then downfield blocking, helping
Yeah.
out there then too. Like it's like those effort things. Here, what if it's the same play here or not?
It is.
Here's that lead blocker. Boom.
Yeah.
Gets just enough.
The wing does a really nice job of just collapsing that side, which is the key to that play. But they had opportunities to make tackles. You just got to make tackles.
Yeah. Okay. Woo. All right. Look like they know what they're doing offensively, and obviously they're sitting atop the district 3-0. They're going to know what they're doing defensively as well then too.
Yeah, they're a 3-4 defense. They play a lot of different coverages. They'll play man. They'll play cover 2, cover 4, quarter, half, cover 3. So we have to identify that very quickly, and if we are throwing, throw to the right spot.
Okay. Let's take a look at Downingtown West on defense.
Upcoming game highlights are sponsored by Tom's Car Wash.
Nice little extra too. You get a little extra PV footage too for when they come our way
We
later.
get every game, so
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
gets
Pressure.
out of a sack, but still gets pressured no matter what here, and they just he throws it away, but. They're trying to run outside zone here, and they chase it down from inside. And then this is what you don't want your running back to do, which is continue to try to fight for yards, but going backwards. Yeah. So they do a nice job. They play a 3-4 just like Downingtown East, but they play it very, very differently than how Downingtown East played.
And
Here
part
they're
of it's
empty.
identifying that 4th guy coming then too
Yeah.
as part of your jobs.
Yeah, here, you know, PV's empty, and they do a really nice job there of, there's one guy open.
Call
and
that
he
a
missed
cover
him.
sack, right? Yep.
Yeah, he missed him, but quarterback thinks he has a pull, and he doesn't. They're running counter tray there.
It almost seems like the defensive end defense tag works his way out, and he's right there for that guy.
Did a nice job. This is try to throw the ball down the middle, little high to the receiver.
There's
Receiver
your
probably
safety.
tell you should have caught it, but it gets intercepted. You know, they have the too strong guy wide open, but
They say if you can touch it, you should catch it, right? That's what they say.
right.
If you can touch it, you can catch it. All right, so you see they were able to wreak havoc. They get some turnovers, and like you said, it looks like they got some athletes on that field.
they do. They do. So our work's cut out for us, but we don't have, you know.
This is who's coming here Friday
That's
night.
right. We got to put our head down and roll.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you and the crew on
Appreciate it.
Friday night. Make sure you tune in next week as we recap the game with Downingtown West and preview Springford's first pack game. For the head coach, Chad Brewbaker, I'm John Brennan. See you next time on the Gridiron.
Boom.
All in assembly time.